I am so excited, but to get started, I'm Billy Ruth and welcome to my vlog! Oh my goodness. Hi friends, I know that it has been the longest time since I've done a vlog, but so much has happened and I feel like I've just been the busiest human being on the planet recently, even though I'm probably not even close to the busiest person on the planet. I'm very excited. Firstly, I have to start by saying Cody is the sweetest husband in the entire world. We recently got new couches in our lounge and that's usually where I do my vlogs. It's the cutest space, it's got fairy lights and nice pillows, but because we got new couches, I can't do my vlog in the lounge anymore, and so I'm doing it in the bedroom, and I was like so upset about it. I was complaining like, oh, the background sucks. And so he offered like, oh, don't worry babe, I'll fix it for you. He comes into the room and he hangs this blanket from the roof just so that I could have a background. So I know that it's kind of clashing with my cute little polka dots, but I am just so grateful for my husband. So a little catch up on where the heck I've been the past few weeks. Cody and I both actually got COVID, which absolutely stinking sucked. Our cute little baby puppy got it as well, which was no help to us whatsoever. But I just woke up and I'm like really nauseous, and just like talking makes me feel like I've run a marathon, and like I have to stop like halfway up the stairs to sit down because I'm like can't breathe. So I'm just like can't do anything without feeling like I've just run like 5Ks. So yeah, it's just a mixture of like sweats and nausea and like just really bad fatigue, and like loss of appetite, and my voice is still pretty painful, so but other than that I'm not so bad. So we were sick for just over a week and it was the worst sickness I've probably ever had in my life. And then time kind of went by and I was like, oh, I'll do a vlog, and I just never did. But here I am, here's my vlog, and without further ado, let's get started. Guys, I got the first fish! Woo! Oh yeah, and if you haven't noticed, I'm a brunette now. How crazy is this? My wonderful friend decided on a random spur of the moment at like 9 o'clock at night to take me to the store, buy a box dye, and change my entire look. So that's what we did, and I mean, what are friends for? Okay guys, these are the final touches. It has been
a journey.
Let's just say Brittany is very artistic with her squirty bottle, and did not use gloves. This is commitment, yo.
It's important.
So let's just hope that my skin gets clean. But as for this shirt, it's done. Keep in touch for the final results. At this point in time, I was staying with Doug and Peggy, and if you have been keeping up with my videos, you would know exactly where I am in my story, but if you haven't, that is totally okay. You can keep listening to this if you like, but I would highly recommend that you go and check out my other videos just so that all of this kind of makes a bit more sense. Things were kind of starting to heat up at this point. It was gonna be my first summer in America, so I was super excited, and Doug and Peggy had planned this whole camping trip with their like entire family. Obviously I didn't want to impose and be like,
hey, take me on this camping trip with you and your entire family.
But I definitely wanted to go, and for some random reason they wanted me to come with them. I guess they enjoyed my presence at least a little bit, so they invited me to go with them, and I was super stoked. We drove up to Idaho, which was only a couple of hours away, and the area that we were camping in was absolutely breathtaking. I had seen so many movies about American like camping trips and just the kind of, you know, whole like wood, trees, lakes, that whole People know what I'm talking about. It's like a whole hyped up thing in the movies of like American camping and stuff. So the place we were staying at exceeded all my expectations of movies that I've seen on American camping trips.
Three, two, one, go.
It's cold. It's really cold. There was no signal, which is definitely not an issue, but at this point in time, I started feeling very, very homesick. It was kind of like a deep, dark feeling that kind of crept into my day. Every 3 hours, I would just get this horrible bash of homesickness, and it really sucked. So the camping trip was a week long, and not being able to talk to my mom and dad for that long kind of freaked me out, which on normal occasion absolutely doesn't. I'm the kind of girl who left home at 17 to live in a country where I knew nobody, so being away from home it wasn't an issue, but homesickness was real at this point. The camping trip started off so fantastically, except we were like in the blazing sun. All the trees that we were around had been cut down because of this beetle that's like infesting the US and just eating all the trees. So we had no shade, so it was extremely hot. It was so much fun though, because we did a lot of things like wake up first thing in the morning and you'd come outside your tent, there would be like a fire and someone would be making coffee. Camping is just what feeds my soul. Let me just put it out there that at this point, Patrick and I were like absolute best friends. Like we had been talking every single day for like the longest time, and I started going through a lot of thoughts. I was struggling with God because I was like, hey, do I let this person go? Do I keep them? Why did you move me halfway across the world to be away from this person if you're just putting them back in my life and we're falling in love all over again? And it was very frustrating because that time of the quarantine and COVID and everything was supposed to be my personal time to spend literally healing from that relationship. But instead I used it to get closer to him and be like even more best friends than we were before. So it was really difficult because now I was kind of just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life and I have no idea where I'm going. But my friend Grace that I mentioned in my last video, she had actually asked the camp directors of a Christian summer camp if I would be able to join them, and they told me that they would love to have me as a counselor. So in a couple of weeks coming ahead, I was going to be a counselor at a summer camp with my friend Grace. So that was kind of like the only thing in my mind that made sense and that was happening. Other than that, my life was just like a go with the flow. I have no idea what I'm doing. So during the whole quarantine time, I had spent kind of a lot of time with married couples, and the idea of marriage just kind of did not sit well with me at all. So on this camping trip, Doug and Peggy spoke to me constantly about this topic, and it was like literally a constant topic that was brought up because I was so against marriage at this point in time that I just did not want to do it, like at all, ever. And they were very concerned for me because usually I'm a very like, I want to get married, have a house, white picket fence, family, you know, children. But I was like, nope, never getting married, don't want kids, don't want that life. So They were very concerned for me and kind of brought the conversation up all the time. But I'm just gonna read you this entry that I wrote in my journal, which is what this whole YouTube channel is based on. It's very personal, but this is just to give you a little bit of an idea of what I thought marriage was at this point in time. Okay. I don't want to get married and fall in love. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to end up sleeping on opposite sides of the bed to my husband. I don't want him to stop looking at me like a sandwich. I don't want him to give up on holding my hand and kissing my forehead when saying goodbye. I don't want to get married and fall in love if the magic is just made to fade. I'm worried about living a boring life with no reasons for my blood to pump fast and hair to raise. I never want to be boring or lazy. I want a different life. One without cellulite and one with non-stop adventure. I need a man who will understand that and love me for it. I need a love that won't fade, but I don't think that'll ever happen, so I never want to get married. I have no idea what was going on in my brain at this point, but I was just very against it. Needless to say, that entire solution of me not wanting to get married was fixed with a 3-hour conversation with Doug and Peggy about what marriage really is and what God intended it to be, and with an easy watch of the movie Father of the Bride. That instantly put me in the mood to get married, so highly recommend. But other than that, the camping trip was the funnest thing I have done in a very long time. Let me just tell you this story. The one night we were sitting all together laughing thinking about it. We were sitting at the table, we're busy playing this game, 9 o'clock at night, and this camping area had lights out at 10. And whilst we were playing, this like giant ass porcupine, I have never seen a porcupine in my life, by the way, so it was kind of crazy for me, but this giant porcupine came running down this like driveway straight towards this tent that we were playing under. And he was like so big and so mad and just ran full speed towards us. We just screamed and we're like he just like did this little U-turn into the bush and we started laughing so hard, and I was like,
I just saw a porcupine. That was so cool.
it was so funny. This just giant fat porcupine just like charged at us. It was kind of frightening. The second was me, 12 o'clock at night, tiny little bladder, really had to pee, got out of my tent and just started walking by myself with this little flashlight. And so I started walking and the flashlight wasn't working, so I like hit the torch and I was like, turn on, turn on, turn on. And as it turns on, I like shine it in front of me. And there was this like really big deer just standing in the middle of the road. The eyes were literally the phrase, a deer stuck in headlights. It just stood in front of me and stared, and I got the biggest fright. I was like, yeah, I did not go to the bathroom. I'm very afraid of the dark, so when something turns me off even more than the complete dark blackness surrounding my body, I can't do it. So I held my pee that night. Thirdly, we were playing cards again, but this time we were inside the tent. And whilst we're playing, there was such a good mood going on. We were like drinking coffee, and by the way, I had s'mores for the first time in my life. Not the biggest fan, but they were alright. So we're busy playing cards. It was the greatest atmosphere. We were having so much fun. And it was just the three of us. Like, there was no one else around us. It was very, very scary because we were playing and then all of a sudden Doug's car outside, like his truck, just turned on. And we were like,
Oh my gosh, your car is getting stolen.
so we opened the tent and we like look outside and there's no one in the car. It was so ridiculous though, because the second the car turned on, Doug's heart raced and he was like, my car's getting stolen. And I just reflex, like sit in front of Doug and Peggy. Shit. I was so afraid that his car was getting stolen that I just like blurted out this curse word. And they looked at me like, and then we all just burst out laughing. It was so funny. I apologize for my language. I did not mean that. But Turns out that like his car keys can turn on his car like by the keys, and he was sitting on his keys, so he like moved his butt and it turned on his car somehow. I have no idea, but it was so funny. It was funny in the moment, I promise. It was the greatest time though. We went kayaking in the lake and had some of the most incredible talks just about the love of God and just family and marriage and people, and it was the most soul-quenching thing that I had done at the time. It kind of just organized my mind and put me in a completely different headspace and just prepared me for the upcoming weeks, honestly, because this is the last video that I'm doing before I tell you guys how I met Cody. From there on, it's kind of just a huge fast forward of my life, that kind of literally 360-degree shift of things changing, and it's absolutely incredible and insane. So that's gonna be very exciting. But if you are ever in America and it is any kind of warm outside, I highly recommend going camping. No signal, no phones, no TV, no technology. So worth it, so worth the beauty. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me and these videos. It is definitely the start of something. Oh, I just totally thought of High School Musical. It's the start of something new. Anyways, I'm sorry. It's definitely the start of something new and exciting. But for now, go camping, look at the stars. If you're struggling with the idea of marriage, send me a message and we'll have a conversation. Other than that, intentionally choose joy today. Don't forget, if you haven't done it yet, I would highly recommend subscribing and turning on the post notifications so that you get notified the second my next video comes out. I really love and appreciate all of you guys. Thank you.
Go!
Woohoo! He's off to save the kayak. Nice. Give us a thumbs up. No thumbs up.